Being in the mountains is a great escape for many people. They're challenging, they're exciting, but they also demand our respect. When the weather is stormy and windy, we have to be careful of getting lost. And when the slopes and the snow are right, we have to be careful about avalanches. In Newfoundland, there have been over 60 people killed by avalanches, and as more and more people venture into the backcountry of places like Gros Morne, where we are right here, or the Lewis Hills, or the Blow Me Down Mountains, or North Arm Hills, we've had increasing numbers of close calls of skiers and snowmobilers being caught in avalanches. All we need is the right slope. We're standing in just the right kind of place right now. Behind us we've got slopes which are between 30 and 45 degrees, the prime start zones for avalanches. We're also standing on a lee slope. We can see cornices behind us, and lee slopes are where snow builds up, is blown in from other locations, and are also prime areas for avalanches. Also, another area to be careful of are convex surfaces, convex rolls that are often the trigger point. This area up here, just as the snow changes its slope, are also prime starting places for avalanches, and many of the people that have been caught in Western Newfoundland have been caught in precisely these types of areas, on lee slopes, convex slopes, and in those start zones of 30 to 45 degrees. We also need the right snow, and what I mean by the right snow is a strong layer over a weaker layer. Perhaps that weaker layer is a rain crust or a sun crust, or maybe just some weak snow crystals, and when we put that kind of situation on the right slope, we've got a recipe for an avalanche. So when you're traveling in avalanche terrain, pay close attention to what's happening out there. And now let's listen to several people that have been caught by avalanches in Western Newfoundland, and let's hear their stories about their experiences. He's going to tell us a little bit about a snowmobile adventure he was on a couple of years ago.
Yes, a couple of years ago in February, I had a couple of clients from Ontario, and they were, we took them off to run some bowls out back at the Tablelands at North Arm Hills here, and I ran up around, make a loop just to sort of show them what the guidelines of where not to go out of bounds thing. And as I crested the hill, instead of going in over the top, I cut across the top and for to turn back down again. And as I was about to turn down, she broke away from under me. Everything just let go about 200 feet wide, and just threw me off, and I went tumbling on for ways and got a bad fright, real bad. The hill is about 800 to 1,000 feet high, and it broke off and it ran down to about 600 feet. It was about 300 or 400 feet from the bottom when it slowly came to a slow stop, and my heart was going on a mile an hour. I just stopped. Well, when I stopped, I stood up and I had to walk down through the avalanche debris to get down to the bottom. And my snowmobile went on ahead of me. It didn't even tip over, which was just total luck, total luck.
I'm with Scott Grant, and Scott, you had an interesting experience with an avalanche in the Lewis Hills this past winter. Can you just describe the weather of the day and exactly what happened?
Sure, Keith, no trouble. This day was following a slight snowfall, probably 6 inches 2 days before this. The particular morning of the slide, it was a very cold morning, minus 18 degrees, very clear, just much like today, bright blue sunny sky. Beautiful. And we noticed, you know, every once in a while somebody would set off a smaller slide, you know, when they climb a hill on their snowmobile. You know, parts of slabs, that sort of thing would be chasing them down, you know, and everybody's kind of outrunning these little things, kind of having a little bit of fun at first. The situation kind of changed a little bit afterwards. A friend of mine actually was coming across a hill towards where I was climbing, and he turned down and literally followed the fall line of the hill and just shot right down at the bottom. While I was looking across, I literally saw the whole face of the hill break away in front of me. I described the slabs as, you know, at least a foot thick or so. I saw it coming, had time to react. I held onto my snowmobile as much as I could and literally gave it extra gas to see if I could kind of shoot across the top of it, and there was no such creature. That snowmobile was literally ripped out from underneath me. I've tried to describe the force of that experience to other people since then, and it is very difficult to describe. I really couldn't believe the power in that thing. It literally tore a 600-pound snowmobile out from underneath me instantly. I mean, it wasn't a huge slide by any means, but for the size of what it was and what it did to me that day, I was flabbergasted. I had no idea there was so much power involved.
As we have just heard in these interviews, there have been several near misses and close calls in the mountains of western Newfoundland in the last few years. So it makes sense to travel with the right gear. By the right gear, I mean a transceiver like I'm holding here. It emits a beep should someone in your party be buried by an avalanche. To actually pinpoint how deeply they're buried, use a probe like I'm showing right here. It will extend to 2.5 meters and allow you to determine how far they are below the snow. And then you need a shovel to dig them out. So to minimize problems associated with avalanches, let's follow a group of Sir Wilfrid Grenfell College students showing good winter travel precautions. First of all, try to get information about any avalanche activity that has recently taken place. In this case, we can see that a large avalanche has occurred, and information from local residents suggests that it is 10 days old. When traveling in avalanche terrain, make sure that everyone is wearing an avalanche transceiver and that the leader ensures that everyone has theirs turned on. Note that the group is spread out and that they approach the leader one at a time to trigger a beep in their transceiver. Note that many people are also carrying shovels and probes, which will be very useful should anyone be caught and buried by an avalanche. Digging snow pits and doing various tests can give you an idea of how unstable the snow is in your particular area. Note how easily the snow layers shear away from the shovel in this case, and how easily the block of snow slides away in this Roosh block test. Avalanches could easily be triggered on larger slopes with this type of unstable snow. It is important that you do these tests in the same area and on similar slopes to those that you will be snowmobiling or skiing. Once in Trout River Bowl on this trip, we carried out various tests and determined that the adjacent snow was probably quite stable in this case. To show students how to search for victims in avalanche debris, we have hidden 2 transceivers and then had the students try to find them. Research shows that you must find a buried victim within 20 minutes for them to have even a 50% survival rate. Clearly, time is of the essence if you want to find a buried person alive. Once you have located a victim with your transceiver, you need to pinpoint the location by slowly moving the transceiver over the snow as shown here. If people in your group are not wearing transceivers, then probing is the only way to find someone who is buried. Clearly, for an avalanche of this size, probing will often be very time-consuming, and the chance of finding someone alive is unlikely. So if you travel in the mountains of western Newfoundland, you should avail of a recreational avalanche course. In these courses, we dig snow pits, do stability tests, and practice searching with a transceiver. Remember that if you or a member of your group gets caught in an avalanche, you only have a short time to do a self-rescue. So carry the right gear, know how to use it, and avoid steep slopes when the snow is unstable. If you're interested in a recreational avalanche course, contact Keith Nicol at Sir Wilfrid Grenfell College in Corner Brook, Newfoundland.